Here we are out at the shop, and I've got this pneumatic hose reel that I want to hang. And since the hose that I have to connect to the compressor is on this side, I'm going to mount it this way. So this hose will go into the compressor down here. I'm going to mount it here, and the reel's going to be coming out down there. I'd rather have it the other way, but I'm just going to use what I have here. I've knocked around here a little bit, and it seems pretty solid out to about here. So I think the way this was framed here was a 2x4 going this way, so it's 1.5 inches, and then the 2x4 is 3.5 this way. There's different ways to frame corners, but I think this is the way they framed it. It's 1.5 inches here, 3.5 this way, and then they nailed a 3.5 2x4 on this side over here. So I think I've got 5 inches of wood behind here, plus a 1/2 inch of drywall. So I'm looking at 5.5 inches coming out to here. Of course, this first 1/2 inch is just drywall. I just want to make sure I have wood back in there to screw this onto, because that thing's heavy. So I'm going to check that out. Of course, I'm out in the garage, and I don't care if I have little holes here or there. So the way I'm going to check this out is just, I'll go 4 inches here. I'll go 4.5 inches. See if I hit something. That's about a 1/2 inch. So I think I hit a stud there, which is great. So that means I have enough meat here to work with on the reel. Let's go over the reel and I'll show you that. Okay, here's the hose reel. This is a real typical one that you can still buy. This is an older one, but this is the mounting bracket, the plate right here, and I'm going to put 4 screws in there to mount that. I'd say this thing, well, I don't have the hose on yet, but I'd say this thing weighs 30 pounds the way it sits right now, 25 pounds maybe. So it has to be sturdy on there. Now some people might not want to mess with this, to take this apart, to mount it, but it's really very, very simple. I'm going to loosen this nut here. It's a nut, a lock washer, and this should come right off. Yep, that's the heavy part there. So it's real easy to work with. Let's go back over to the wall. All right, I'm already mocked this up, so it's going to sit just like that. And I'm going to line it up with the edge of the sheetrock initially. So I'm just going to draw a line across here. Mark these. Good. That's where it's going to sit. And I'll put a couple screws in and then I'll check it with a level. It's not a big deal, but I'll do that. Now to mount this, of course I could use lag screws like this, which would be fine. But I've got some leftover timber lock. Depends where you buy them, timber lock, ledger lock. And these things are stout. I used them to build a barn. And you can also use them for the ledger board on a deck instead of through bolting. They're really tough. Depends where you live, so you want to check your building code. But these things are amazing. I got a 2.5 inch timber lock screw, and I've got a stout washer, and I don't even have to drill any holes. I'm just going to go right in. I'd rather not have drywall on here because it's a little soft, but I think with that big plate and these washers, I should be okay. And when you buy these timber lock or ledger lock screws, they give you a tip with it. There we go. There we go. And I got my little level here. I can check it for level. And we're close. Perfect. Now on these top ones, I'm resting the lag screw right down in the lip. So I've got a nice snug fit in there. That is solid. Chain going nowhere. And now all I have to do is throw the reel back on. Just slide that through the hole there. Put my lock washer on. And the nut. Tighten her down. And just snap the hose on. And I've got to connect this hose here and then run it into the reel. And to make that connection, I'm going to put some Teflon tape on there. You always want to go in the direction that you'll be tightening. So you go clockwise, holding it in this orientation. And I like to go around 4 times. Get it started. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you just break it off. Now I'm going to feed it through. And on this particular one, which they make a lot of these, I need to come through here. And then we're going to mount on here. So just to get this set up, I need to screw this on clockwise. So I'm going to twist this counterclockwise a few times so I can get that on there and not have to fight with the hose. Now your hose reel may very well come with the hose already mounted on it. It's kind of a long story how I got this hose reel, but it came without the hose. And then this hose fits in this little clip here. I want to keep that right in line with that so it's not stressing it. And actually I made a mistake putting the hose through here because this isn't wound. You want the spring tightest when the hose is extended. So I'm going to hand wind this. We'll wind it. Here we are at the end. And now I can just stick this through. Now you can adjust the tension. If you want more tension, you can just pull it out. Pull the hose back in. Wrap it around again. Pull it back through. And put your stop back on, which I haven't done yet. That gives it more tension. If you want to release tension, you do just the opposite. I just noticed something, and before I go any further, this was always the end where I'd put the tool on the air hose, and you can see how that gets stressed over time. So that's a weak point here. The other end of the hose was connected to the air compressor, and that didn't move around a lot, so that's in a lot better shape. So before I go any further, I'm going to switch this around. I'm going to put this end down here because that's not going to move, and this will last a lot longer. And I'm going to use this end with a 360-degree swivel. And these come in real handy. They'll keep you from doing this. And the reason that happens is you got a tool on the end of this that doesn't flex, so it stresses the hose. So let's change that around real quick. All right. Now we've got a good end here. I like that. And the only thing left to do is to put a hose stop on there. And I actually found this at Northern Tool for $4.50. They're on clearance. Beautiful. Seems good. Let's turn it on, check for leaks, and I think we're all set. It's looking good. All I'm going to do is let this pump up, check for leaks at all my connections, and I should be good to go. A lot neater than just wrapping it around there and less destructive on the hose. I hope this video was a help to you. Real simple to hook up. I recommend taking that apart if you have this design. If this video was a help to you, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And I look forward to helping you with other projects online.